All right, so now show me the game first, and let's see the game, and then you can explain the script, the modules and the scripts. So, all right, so
this is my game, Difficultival.
Difficultival?
Yeah,
okay.
It's like difficulty survival, but they're combined with each other.
Oh, I got you. So go ahead and let's see what happens. So these little arrows come in.
Yeah, I'm trying to dodge them.
And you're dodging them.
They get faster and faster, and they come the more time you have. And you might be wondering what that circle is in the middle. Well, that's a cool pattern that grows bigger and bigger and spins faster and faster the more time you've survived.
Okay.
And it also changes color with the background.
So now show me what happens when those things hit you.
Oh no, I can't dodge them.
Oh, so you see the bar has disappeared up top. You got hit again, so the bar is disappearing up top. So you basically, and then when you get all your lives gone, you die.
And then
click
you can retry.
Retry, and it starts all over again. So it's a game of survival, really, right?
Yeah.
So now show me the script.
Wait. The background.
And the background, of course, changes colors. Yeah.
The background isn't fixed yet. I've got to fix that.
Well, just show me the script in its current form. I know you have some tweaking you still want to do, but show me the script and walk me through the script. The main parts of it. You don't need to go through everything, but just go through the main parts.
So basically, when the green flag is clicked, oh wait, that's not the main script. So how it makes it rainbow is when green flag clicked, forever change color effect by 0.5. And without this script, this game wouldn't be possible, because this is the script that makes it go to the mouse pointer. So basically, when the green flag is clicked, it goes to the front layer, then it sets the size to 250% of its normal size, then it forever goes to the mouse pointer.
Perfect.
Which creates this.
Which creates that effect.
A mouse following square.
Uh-huh.
And also you might be wondering how it spins. It's just a little simple script. When green flag clicked, forever turn 4 degrees left.
Okay.
And, about the time. When the green flag is clicked, it sets the time to 0, then it waits 0.03 seconds, then it repeats until the health is less than 1. It changes time by 1 and wait 1 second until the health is less than 1.
Gotcha.
So, and there's also that same script, except when you press the retry button, it broadcasts reset. And you might be wondering, well, how does the time go on if you retry it and it just stopped? Well, this is the code. When I receive reset, set time to 0, wait 0.03 seconds, and then it repeats change time by 1, wait 1 second until the health is less than 1. So it basically goes in a forever loop.
Gotcha.
And anything else made? Oh yeah, the pattern. The pattern has a module. So basically I use this pen extension for it. It has a lot of pen blocks. So basically, when the green flag is clicked, it goes to X0, Y0, and then points in direction 90, hide, and then set pen size to 0.5, and then forever draw pattern. Well, you might be wondering, this costume's empty. How are you possibly gonna make a pattern with that? Well, this pen extension allows you to make cool drawings. So this draw pattern block calls the module draw pattern, which says erase all, set pen color to color, which is basically this variable right here, and then pen down. And then it repeat amount of times, repeat sides amount of times, move length steps, turn right degree, turn 360 divided by sides degrees right, and then turn 360 divided by repeat degrees. Oh yeah, right. And also how it changes with the background. The background and the pattern basically have similar to the script. You can see right here. It's basically when the green flag is clicked, this repeats until the time set color to 25 repeats until the time is greater than
24. So what this module is doing is changing the color every 25 seconds, basically.
Yeah. 25, 50,
seconds. Yeah.
75, 100, and then
greater than 100 or greater than 99.
Yeah. I don't want it to get darker or it'll end up being black.
Yeah.
And then oh, yeah, the particles. You might be wondering what those things coming out are. Those are particles. So basically, when the green flag is clicked, it forever changes the color effect by 0.5 to match the player script of Becoming Rainbow. You can see they're the same. So, and they both start at red and keep going. So they start at the same time and at the same color. And so when the green flag's clicked, hide. You might be wondering why. Well, how are you supposed to get these things coming out if you can't even see them? Well, that's an easy fix. That's because the particle appears somewhere random on the screen, and so you wouldn't want to be seeing that. And then you might be wondering, well, how do they come out then, if you can't even see it? Plus, how do they just multiply themselves? Well, good question. The player has the script actually, but basically, when the green flag is clicked forever, it creates a clone of the particle. And so, the particle, when I start as a clone, set Y force to pick random -2 to 2, set X force to pick random -2 to 2, go to back layer and set size to 250%. And then forever change X by X force, and then change Y by Y force, and turn right 15 degrees. Well, why don't you just make it so that they change from -2 to 2 without using variables? Well, there's a slight problem with that. If I do that with a pick random on both of them, then they'll basically just go flying in random directions everywhere, and then I won't know where they're gonna go. So basically, these variables help keep it steady. So it basically picks one from -2 to 2 and then keeps it. It doesn't go flying all around everywhere. And then when I start as a clone, go to player and fade. Well, you might be wondering, why isn't it a forever go to the player? Well, that's because it would just stay there instead of going in directions. It would just stay there stuck. That's why I only put a go to player once, so that it appears at the player, but then it doesn't stay there forever. And then fade, which calls this module, which is fade. And basically, it's repeating. Change goes to effect by 8 and change size by -10 by 50. And then it deletes this clone so it doesn't overrun from clones. And when the green, and that's all about the particle. I basically cleared the particle. And the background, the enemy, and the pattern change all together. First, I thought about, what if I make colors for different difficulties, like every 25 seconds? And then that idea came to reality. When I start as a clone, every 25 seconds, this is nothing, but if time is greater than 24, do nothing. Well, what's that gonna do? Well, it starts at green, so you don't need to worry about it. That's why I just left it empty.
That's kind of the default.
Yeah, and then this is where it starts changing colors. So after 25 seconds, which is 50 seconds, it'll change the color effects to yellow. And also, a note, I had to find every singular color. I had to find the colors. I had to type random numbers and find out if that was correct.
If you liked it or not.
Yeah. And then another 25 seconds, it turns orange. Another 25, it turns red. Another 25, dark red. And then another 25, maroon.
I love it.
And then the background and the pattern also do that. But they're just a little bit different than usual. And then the time. Let me get rid of this. So, this is complicated, but when the green flag is clicked, it hides and then sets the size to 150%, and then it goes to X -225, Y 159. You might be wondering why these numbers are here. Well, because it has to go to the corner of the screen, of course. I can't just leave it in the middle of the screen chilling there. And then it sets the index to 1. That'll be important. And then it repeats 27 of create clone of myself, change X by size divided by 7.5. That's here so that also you can't see the clones because they're invisible.
Right. They're the little dots on the back of the, kind of like the placeholder things.
Yeah. And they basically, every time it repeats, it moves by its size. The size was like in the hundreds or something, so that's why I had to divide it. I couldn't just make it move 100 steps, so that's why I divided it. And I had to test numbers to see which one I liked the most, and it came up with 7.5.
Very nice.
Size divided by 7.5.
A lot of testing.
And then
right?
change index by 1. You gotta remember that for later. When I start as a clone, forever go to front layer. That'll be because the background when you die, the second background, the black background, you died background, whatever you want to call it, it goes like 8 layers forward, and that's why it forever has to go to the front layer. I just don't want to worry about making a number of how much layers it has to go up by.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when green flag clicked, forever go to front layer. Yeah. And then, when I start as a clone, show forever change costume to join time - letter index of time. which is this variable. You might be wondering, well, what's index? That's the number the clone is. So basically, it's the indexed letter. It's the indexed number of the time. So basically, say I survived for 139 seconds, and the second clone wants to change to the 3, and every time it creates a clone, it changes the index by 1. And so the index, it changes to the second letter because it's the second clone.
So it's basically a counter.
Yeah.
It counts.
And you might be wondering why it's time hyphen. Well, if you look into the costumes, you can see a bunch of numbers. I couldn't just make it with pen. First is 1. You can see it has time hyphen. That's important. Time hyphen 1, time hyphen 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 0. And then you can see this one's blank. Blank. And it's only time hyphen, no number. You want to know why? Because the number, you don't just want to make it like 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 everywhere. You can't have no blank costume because if you had 13 seconds, it would be like you survived 13 quadrillion seconds.
Right, so it gets
you
rid of the
wouldn't
zeros.
want that. So basically, it just leaves it blank because there's no number. And then change size by 0.2 times 150 minus size. If you look closely at the previous part, you can see the time actually changes the size when it changes numbers. It has a cool effect. It pops up and then back down.
And this is the time that you've survived. This is the counter
Yeah.
for the time that you've survived. It's your survival counter.
And also about the change costume to module. Define change costume to costume, which is a label. No, that's an import, I think. If not costume equals costume name, then switch the costume to the costume and then set the size to 190%, which is basically how it pops up and down.
It's how the number gets big
Yeah.
and then small again.
And these 3 I've already...
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
the only thing you have to tell me now is how the lives go down. The code that makes the lives
Yeah.
go down.
So the health bar. There's 4 simple costumes, 5 if you consider it going off screen. There's the base, which is the full bar. There's the base, which is the full bar. And then there's the empty, which is a black bar. And then there's a full, which is offsetted, remember this, with just half of the bar. And then there's this. That's the layering, so it can tell you that you have 4 lives, basically 4 hearts. And now for the code. This is a long code. It's when the green flag is clicked, it switches the costume to base, which is this. That's the base costume. Then it sets the size to 200%, so it's bigger. And then create clone of myself. And then switch costume to base 2. Oh wait. Yeah, base 2. That's basically the layering. And then it waits 0.02 seconds, which is important because when I didn't put that, it bugged out. Then it goes to the front layer and then it creates a clone of myself, which is the health bar. Then it goes backward one layers. I couldn't put back layer because then it would go back all the way.
Right. And
then switch costume to full, which is basically this one. And then a forever loop for switch costume to big. This is optional. If you wanted it to go off screen, then you could. But basically, it switches it to a big rectangle so that the costume could go further off screen from the grid of the big rectangle.
Mm-hmm.
And then it calls the module position bar. Position bar is when it goes to X 185, Y 165. That's basically so that it could go to the other corner of the screen, just like the time.
It's the position of the bar.
Yeah, the position. And then it sets the percent to health divided by max health. And then it sets the color effect to percent times 50. You can see it changes color when you get hit. Also, yeah, I know the enemies only come when you're at 10 seconds. You can see it changes color. It changes color.
Based on how many lives you've lost.
Based on how many lives you've lost.
Very cool.
But except it's way smoother. Like, it could go from -1s instead of -5. And then if percent is less than 0.5, then switch costume to empty. Else, switch costume to full, which is basically this one. And I can explain this. So basically, the percent gets set to 1, which is basically 100 if you count it as the max health. And so it basically goes down the less health you have. And so that's 50 for the health is basically 0.5 for the percent because it's half of 1.
Mm-hmm.
And so it would switch the costume to empty if it's less than it, so that it would cover the rest of it. And I should have gone over this first. So it switches the costume to full, and then it basically slides. Oh wait, it slides, and then it overlaps the base, and then this part is the most important one. Set the width to 46 times size divided by 100. Then change X by width times percent. That's so that it slides across. As you can see, when I get taken away 5 health 5 times, which is basically me getting hit, it slides. It slides, it slides, and it slides.
Mm-hmm. It slides down. It doesn't just disappear, it slides.
And I've already gone over this, but you might be wondering, well, how does the full costume go over here and then go out? That will make it look really buggy. Well, that's because it switches to the empty costume. As you can see, if you didn't understand, like, you would think that it would go here, then you're wrong, because it actually switches to the costume empty right when it gets under 0.5 of the percent variable. So basically, that makes it so the offset. the offset would basically be like if it was still the full costume, then it went down, then it would be right here. But since the empty costume is offsetted more right to the left, which is a full costume's worth, then it basically appears magically and you don't even see it, and then it just slides over normally.
All right, baby. That's 25 minutes. Thank you for that wonderful explanation. Are you a genius or are you just really smart?
Yes, I'm a genius.
All right, give me 5. I'm super proud of you. I'm super proud of this code. This is really awesome. He's done an amazing job. He spent the last, how long, a week or so on this?
No, like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks creating this game that he's interested in having people play, and he's going to publish it and hopefully gets lots of people playing it. But he started with just a concept, and he had just a really rough draft and really wasn't a game. It was things floating, and then he changed it and modified it and debugged it and concepted it out and prototyped it and decided to want to add more things, and now it's a full-fledged game. So I'm super proud of you, Liam. You did an amazing job. And I know you'll keep growing it, right? You're probably going to keep adding some stuff.
Yeah. So, basically, it was just from a white background, no pattern, no enemies, and just the enemy standing there from this. I mean to this.
And so you've done a lot of brainstorming and a lot of troubleshooting and debugging. I'm sure you've done a lot of debugging, right? To make things work the way you wanted them to work.
I started all the way from scratch and worked all the way up to here.
Yep, and I'm super proud of you. All right, I love you.
I love you too.
All right. Say bye to the camera.
Bye.
Give me a kiss. Mwah. All right.